Welcome to our deep dive into the world of Bitcoin and AI and really the future of finance. And we're going to be looking at it through the eyes of Karam Shroff, who you might know as the Arab crypto whale. We're exploring a recent conversation with Karam, who has, really been shaping the crypto landscape since Bitcoin was valued at just $1.
Yeah, it's fascinating to trace his journey. I mean, he's someone who was involved with Bitcoin before, well, most people even knew what blockchain was.
Yeah.
And now he's working with these major players like, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, people who are influencing the trajectory of technology and finance.
It really is. And it's this unique perspective that makes his insights so interesting. I mean, he's seen it all from Bitcoin as an obscure idea to this global phenomenon. So he has a really clear understanding of where we are and maybe where we're headed. So let's start at the beginning. What sparked his interest in Bitcoin?
Well, his journey actually began by witnessing the success of M-Pesa in Kenya back in 2011. Yeah, so M-Pesa is this mobile money transfer service
Hmm.
that just totally transformed finance in Kenya. It even surpassed the reach of all the banks combined at one point.
Wow.
And seeing a single app, disrupt an entire financial system was a revelation,
Yeah.
both for Kenya and for Karam. And it was this experience that led him to Bitcoin.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he saw how Bitcoin, with its ability to be divided into 100 million Satoshis, could potentially achieve something similar on a global scale.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. It sounds like his initial view of Bitcoin was as a direct replacement for traditional money, a way to kind of circumvent the established systems and empower individuals. But his perspective has evolved since then, hasn't it?
It has. It has. Karam's journey really reflects this key shift within the Bitcoin space, which is a movement from just focusing solely on Bitcoin to embracing the wider potential of blockchain technology for lots of different applications. So while he initially held a Bitcoin maximalist view, meaning he believed Bitcoin was the only solution, he now recognizes the broader applications of blockchain and advocates for their development.
That's an important distinction. So while he still believes in Bitcoin's potential, he's not looking at it with such a narrow lens anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
He's looking at the bigger picture of how blockchain technology can be used
Exactly. Precisely.
to address different challenges.
Yeah. He's even predicted that Bitcoin will hit $100,000
Wow.
and that the true, gold rush is just beginning.
That's a bold prediction. What makes him so confident?
Well, consider this. 99% of all Bitcoin is expected to be mined by 2034.
Okay.
So this means we are in a critical window of opportunity. It's almost like a digital land grab where those who understand the potential are staking their claim early.
So it's not just about holding Bitcoin as a speculative asset. It's about recognizing its role in this evolving technological landscape.
Right.
Understanding the potential of blockchain technology to revolutionize different sectors, including real estate, which Karam is particularly passionate about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Crumb's been advocating for the tokenization of real-world assets for years, long before it became this buzzword that it is today. He even saw the potential for tokenization within Islamic finance,
Oh, okay.
which, shows how forward-thinking he was.
Tokenization, for those who might be unfamiliar, is essentially the process of converting a real-world asset, like real estate or even art, into a digital token on a blockchain.
Yeah.
And then these tokens can be traded, they can be fractionalized, they can be managed in all sorts of new ways.
Right, and opened up new avenues for investment and ownership.
But why real estate specifically? Why is he so focused on that?
He envisions this future where real estate is fractionalized and accessible through tokenization. This would allow, say, a younger generation who might not have the capital for traditional real estate investment to actually own fractions of property.
Oh,
So imagine, being able to buy a tiny piece of a Manhattan skyscraper instead of needing millions of dollars for a down payment. This has the potential to really democratize real estate investment, Right. make it accessible to a far wider range of people.
it's a fascinating concept and one we've seen major institutions like BlackRock entering the space with projections of a multi-trillion-dollar market.
Yeah, this shift towards tokenization could be revolutionary, really,
Yeah.
in terms of financial inclusion and generational wealth building.
Right, because it could level the playing field by giving more people access to assets that were previously out of reach.
Exactly.
It all sounds very promising, but I imagine there are also challenges and potential drawbacks to consider. What does Karam have to say about the role of government and regulation in all of this?
Well, Karam believes that government support and regulatory clarity are crucial for the long-term growth and legitimacy of the Bitcoin and blockchain industry.
Hmm.
So he sees the need to strike a balance. He recognizes the potential for Bitcoin to disrupt these traditional
Yeah.
systems, but he also acknowledges the importance of working within existing frameworks, to ensure stability and responsible innovation.
That makes sense. So he's not advocating for a complete overthrow of traditional finance.
Right.
He sees the need for a more collaborative approach where governments and regulators work with these innovators
Exactly.
to create a framework that fosters innovation but also protects consumers.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And in terms of government support, he views Donald Trump's recent embrace of Bitcoin as a potentially significant development.
This is a significant shift for Trump, who was previously quite critical of cryptocurrencies. How does Karam see this impacting global adoption?
He believes it could be a game changer. Trump's endorsement could encourage other countries, especially in the Middle East,
Okay.
to take Bitcoin more seriously.
And speaking of the Middle East, Karam points out that this region presents both unique opportunities and challenges for adoption.
Yes, definitely. There's this high level of crypto involvement already in the Middle East. Um, but the regulatory landscape is still very complex, particularly in places like India, which creates obstacles to wider adoption.
India is a particularly interesting case. They have a large population of Bitcoin holders, yet the regulatory environment is still somewhat ambiguous, leading to people relying on decentralized exchanges
Right.
to navigate these complexities.
This highlights the tension that often arises between the decentralized ideals of Bitcoin
Yeah.
and then this kind of centralized nature of government oversight.
Right.
It's a tension that needs to be addressed, I think, through dialogue and collaboration.
So we see this push and pull between the desire for decentralization and the need for some form of regulation to ensure stability and protect consumers. And this brings us to another crucial aspect of the crypto world, which is security. We can't talk about Bitcoin without acknowledging the inherent risks.
Absolutely. Khurram highlights the vulnerability of centralized exchanges
Right.
by referencing the Wazir X hack in India,
Okay. Yeah.
where $300 million was stolen.
Wow.
This incident serves as a stark reminder that even in the digital realm, these security breaches can have devastating consequences.
It raises important questions about where and how people store their crypto.
And Khurram's response to the Wazir X hack is noteworthy. Rather than kind of shying away from the issue or placing blame, he actually emphasizes the importance of community support and solidarity, in the face of adversity.
So even in a decentralized world, he sees the need for human connection and support.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a reminder that even with decentralized technology, trust and collaboration remain vital.
Speaking of collaboration, I'd like to touch on Karam's company, IM Mining Technologies.
Okay.
They've had an interesting journey.
Yeah, they started as a traditional gold mining company, then shifted to Bitcoin mining, then to Ethereum staking.
Okay.
And now they're focusing on AI and real-world asset tokenization. It mirrors, I think, the broader trajectory of the crypto space.
It's a testament to their adaptability. However, they've also encountered challenges, particularly in securing audits.
Yeah, this seems to be a common issue for many crypto companies, especially those operating in publicly traded markets. The uncertainties surrounding crypto regulations make it difficult for traditional accounting firms to actually provide audits, which can hinder growth and legitimacy.
Right, because without those audits, it's hard to attract larger institutional investors.
Exactly.
So there's this need for clearer regulations and standardized accounting practices.
And Karam's a vocal advocate for change in this area. He's calling for accounting firms and regulators to actually establish clearer guidelines
Okay.
and to offer greater support to crypto companies seeking audits. He views this as essential for the industry's, maturation and wider acceptance.
So we're seeing this push for integration, for a bridging of the gap between traditional finance and this burgeoning crypto ecosystem.
Yeah, he's not simply calling for disruption. He's advocating for a more inclusive system where these seemingly, disparate worlds can coexist.
Right. And potentially benefit from each other's strengths. It's a fascinating perspective. But before we move on, I want to pause and just pose a question to you, the listener. What stood out to you so far in Karam's story? What resonates with your own understanding of this world? Hold on to those thoughts as we continue our exploration in part 2.
We've been talking about the need for these bridges between the traditional finance world and the crypto world. And Karam has some interesting ideas about the role of decentralized exchanges.
Yeah. And his perspective is especially interesting, given his background in challenging those traditional systems. So what does he have to say about decentralized exchanges?
Well, while he sees the value in decentralization, particularly in taking power away from these institutions like banks and governments, he also acknowledges some limitations.
What sort of limitations?
Well, he points to the often clunky user experience and the challenges with, regulatory compliance as hurdles.
Hmm.
He even goes so far as to say that if traditional banks were to fully embrace Bitcoin and crypto, decentralized exchanges might actually become obsolete.
That's a thought-provoking statement, especially coming from someone who's been at the forefront of, challenging the established order.
It shows his pragmatism. He's not ideologically tied to any one system. He's looking for the most effective solutions,
Yeah.
whether they're centralized or decentralized.
And that pragmatism is reflected in his advice for those who are interested in the crypto space.
Yeah.
He emphasizes the importance of getting involved, of moving beyond theory, and actually using the technology.
He's a firm believer in learning by doing. Yeah. He even encourages people to invest a small amount in Bitcoin just to get a feel for how it works. Almost like, dipping your toes in the water before taking the full plunge.
Right. It's a low-stakes way to gain that experience.
Exactly. And he stresses, of course, steering clear of those get-rich-quick schemes that, unfortunately, are so common in the crypto world.
That's crucial advice. There's a lot of hype and misinformation out there. It's easy to fall prey to scams,
Yeah.
which brings us back to Khurram's emphasis on education.
Oh, absolutely.
He believes education is paramount in empowering people
It is.
to make informed decisions, protect themselves, and really understand the potential of this technology.
And not just understanding the price fluctuations of Bitcoin.
No, right.
It's about grasping these fundamental principles behind Bitcoin, the underlying blockchain technology,
Yeah.
understanding the economic principles at play.
So it's about developing a more nuanced understanding,
Right.
recognizing this is more than just a speculative investment.
Right. It's a potentially transformative technology.
Yeah, with far-reaching consequences.
Precisely. And it's that transformative potential that makes the convergence of Bitcoin and AI so fascinating and maybe even, a little bit unsettling. We touched on this earlier, but it's worth digging a little deeper.
Yeah, the idea of, two AIs negotiating with each other and paying each other in Bitcoin, I mean, it sounds like science fiction.
I know.
But it's happening right now, so what are the implications?
Well, imagine a world where AI manages entire investment portfolios, executing trades, complex trades in Bitcoin at speeds no human could match. AI could also verify transactions, detect fraud, even manage DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations.
Mm-hmm.
The possibilities are pretty vast.
DAOs, for those who aren't familiar, are organizations that are basically run by code on the blockchain,
Yeah.
operating autonomously.
Yeah, it's fascinating, but I imagine AI's involvement in DAOs raises some really complex questions.
Well, we've already talked about those biases that can creep into AI algorithms.
Oh, yeah.
So what happens when those biases influence decisions that are made on the blockchain, which is meant to be this neutral and transparent platform?
That's the question, isn't it? It underscores the need to think carefully about the ethical implications of all this.
Yeah. Right.
We need to develop AI systems that are transparent, accountable, and really aligned with human values.
Khurram seems cautiously optimistic about the future of AI. He believes it can be this force for good, but stresses the need for those ethical guidelines and human oversight.
He's not approaching this with blind faith.
Right.
He's approaching this with a sense of responsibility.
And that's what's compelling about Khurram's story. He's faced these challenges, overcome obstacles,
Yeah.
but he's never lost sight of that power.
The transformative power of this technology. His journey offers valuable lessons for everyone, whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just beginning to explore this world.
Yeah, and one thing I find really inspiring is his emphasis on community,
Oh, yeah.
especially, given that often cutthroat nature of the tech world.
He's very passionate about the need for collaboration and support and a shared vision. He sees the Bitcoin community as this force for good.
Working together.
Working together, exactly.
To build something bigger than themselves.
Exactly. And you see this in his response to the Wazir X hack.
Right.
Instead of blaming or distancing himself, he called for the community to rally around them, offer support.
It was a powerful demonstration of that strength and solidarity, highlighting a sense of shared purpose that goes beyond just making money.
It was a reminder that this is about building something bigger, something that has the potential to change the world. And it brings us to the core of Khurram's vision.
Right.
which is the potential for Bitcoin and blockchain to actually create a more inclusive, equitable financial system.
He envisions a world where these technologies empower individuals and communities,
Yeah.
particularly those who've been marginalized.
Right.
And it's a vision that's deeply intertwined with his personal story. Even though he comes from a privileged background, he's using his resources and influence to champion that inclusion.
He's walking the walk. He's putting his money where his mouth is.
Yeah.
Actively investing in companies, supporting entrepreneurs.
And using his platform.
Using his platform to advocate for a more just and equitable world.
And while we've been discussing the potential benefits of AI, we should also acknowledge the concerns that some experts have raised. Concerns about the potential for artificial general intelligence.
Oh yeah, AGI.
AGI.
For those who are not familiar, is this concept of artificial intelligence reaching a level of sophistication where it surpasses human intelligence.
And some people believe it could pose an existential threat.
Right. It's a concept that's often explored in science fiction.
Yeah.
But some very intelligent people are taking this very seriously.
So does Khurram share these concerns?
Well, while he doesn't talk specifically about AGI in the interview, he does express some caution. He advocates for ethical frameworks, human oversight, making sure AI remains a tool for good.
He's essentially saying that we need to be mindful of the potential consequences of creating such powerful technology. It's like giving a child a loaded weapon without any safety training.
It underscores the need for open and honest discussions about AI, involving lots of different perspectives.
Khurram has provided us with some incredible insights into this intersection of Bitcoin and AI and really the future of finance. He's painted this vivid picture of both the opportunities and the challenges.
His message is one of hope, but also urgency. Hope, because he truly believes that these technologies have the power to create a better world. And urgency, because he recognizes that we need to act now.
To shape that future.
We shape that future responsibly. And while we've covered a lot of ground here, there's still more to explore.
Right.
Khurram has some really compelling thoughts on leadership, his call for government action, and his vision for a future where technology really empowers humanity.
We'll delve into those aspects of his perspective in the final part of our deep dive. Stay with us.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Bitcoin, AI, and the future of finance with Karam Shroff. We've explored his journey from those early days of Bitcoin to his vision for a tokenized world. And we've talked about, the transformative potential, but also the challenges that these technologies present.
And we've discussed the need for these bridges between traditional finance and the crypto world, that convergence of AI and blockchain, and the importance of responsible development. Now I want to talk about something that Khurram really emphasizes throughout the interview: leadership.
Yeah, he's not just talking about technical leadership.
Yeah.
The kind that develops complex algorithms or designs mining hardware. He's talking about something more, something that goes beyond just that technical expertise.
Yeah, he sees leadership as a responsibility. It's a duty to guide and educate, to challenge these outdated systems, and advocate for a future that works for everyone. And he doesn't shy away from, calling out those in positions of power who he believes are hindering progress, whether it's governments or accounting firms.
Yeah, he's not afraid to speak his mind. But his criticisms are always constructive. He's not just pointing out problems, he's offering solutions.
Right. He's proposing concrete steps that governments, institutions, individuals can take to really embrace the potential.
He's leading by example. He's investing in companies, supporting entrepreneurs, and using his platform to educate and inspire.
It's a true belief in the power of collective action, right?
Right.
Understanding that to create meaningful change, you need more than just the technology.
Yeah.
You need those individuals who are willing to step up and work together.
To shape a better future. And one of the areas where he sees a crucial need for this kind of leadership is in bridging that gap between, the crypto world and the traditional financial system.
Right, because he believes that both sides can benefit.
Exactly. He's calling for banks to embrace Bitcoin, for regulators to provide clear guidelines, for accounting firms to develop those standardized practices.
He's not advocating for the destruction of the existing system, right?
Right.
He's advocating for its evolution.
Exactly.
He sees a future where traditional institutions and this crypto ecosystem can work together.
Create a more efficient, inclusive, transparent financial system.
That benefits everyone.
One that benefits everyone, exactly. And this emphasis on collaboration extends to his view of the Bitcoin community itself.
Yeah, he stresses the importance of supporting each other, especially during those challenging times.
He uses the example of WazirX, the Indian crypto exchange that was hacked.
Mhm.
Instead of blaming or distancing himself, he called for the community to rally around them, offer support.
It was a powerful demonstration of that strength and solidarity within the community. It highlighted that sense of shared purpose that goes beyond just making money.
It really did, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a reminder that this is about building something bigger, something that has the potential to change the world. And it brings us to the core of Karam's vision,
Yeah.
which is this idea that technology, Bitcoin, blockchain, AI, can be tools to create a more equitable and sustainable world.
A world where these technologies are used to empower people to solve problems.
Exactly, exactly. He talks about a future where real estate is tokenized so more
Yeah.
people can invest, where AI helps us manage resources more efficiently,
Right, reducing waste.
reducing waste, yeah,
Yeah.
where financial systems are transparent and accountable,
And that reduces corruption.
reduces corruption, yeah. It's a powerful vision, but he's not naive. He acknowledges the risks,
Hmm.
the potential for misuse,
Hmm.
and the need to develop these technologies carefully and ethically.
He stresses that AI development needs to be guided by human values,
Right.
with safeguards to prevent those unintended consequences.
Exactly.
So he's not just advocating for progress at any cost, it's progress with purpose.
Progress with purpose.
And that brings us to his ultimate message, really, which is a call to action for all of us.
Yeah. He believes the future is not something that happens to us, it's something we create.
It's up to us to shape it. So he urges everyone to get involved, learn about these technologies, and use our voices and our actions to build the world we want to live in. It's a powerful reminder that we all have a role to play. Whether you choose to invest in Bitcoin, explore blockchain, or just educate yourself, the key takeaway is get involved.
And as Karam says, you can get involved in the Bitcoin community with less than a penny. All I'm asking is just get involved, understand it, read the white paper of Bitcoin, and then you make a decision for yourself.
Wise words from someone who's been at the forefront of this movement. And as we wrap up our deep dive into Khurram's insights, we encourage you, the listener, to reflect on his journey, his vision, and his call to action. The future is here. It's up to all of us to shape it.